Fam, I've been doing some thinking on this topic right here for a hot minute. About our people and shit mysteriously being found hanging from trees and shit, right? In the South. Well, clear across the US, but majority of this shit is popping up in the South, right? And I have an idea. I really think I know what the hell is going on. I feel it in my gut. But before we get into it, let's refresh what's been taking place down there. Let me roll this footage of this video, this brother's video right here. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna spin the block real quick. Let's go.
Okay, so Mississippi residents are calling out the Jackson Police Department for not being more transparent in the case of Tasia Fortune, a 29-year-old black woman who was found hanging from a tree behind a vacant house. And another concern for Mississippi residents is the person who was doing the autopsy report, Dr. Stacy Turner, who in the past submitted highly contested reports for Nolan Wales, Damian Cameron, and Trey Reed. Yeah, black people still being hung from trees in 2026 is majorly wild. But y'all tell me what y'all think about it, man.
So yeah, and that's just a handful, sadly. But I started doing some thinking on this. I'm like, me being from the South, I know how racist it is. But majority of the racism I ever experienced, it didn't really come from it. Well, it did come from regular like non-FBA citizens and shit in the South. You know, the palm color. I'm gonna say the palm color people down there. But the majority of it really came from those motherfuckers that replaced those sheets and threw on the badge and the gun. Now let me tell you, right? That's who I really feel like they're the ones going around lynching our young brothers and sisters and shit down there in the South and getting away with this shit. And the main thing that popped up in my mind was that story about that goon squad in Mississippi. Do y'all remember that goon squad story? Those 6 palm color punk ass boys that were going around tasing black people, doing sexual deviant shit to them, torturing them, even shooting one of them in the mouth. Let me roll the footage. Let's go.
We end today's show in Mississippi, where 6 former law enforcement officers have been sentenced to between 10 and 40 years in prison each for raiding a home and torturing 2 black men. The officers, all of whom are white, belong to a group that described itself as the Goon Squad. In January of 2023, the 6 officers burst into a home, then beat, handcuffed, waterboarded, and tasered Michael Corey, Jenkins, and Eddie Terrell Parker. The officers also sexually abused them with an object while shouting racial slurs. One of the officers put a gun in Jenkins' mouth for a mock execution and pulled the trigger. The bullet lacerated his tongue, broke his jaw, exited through his neck. The officers then planted drugs at the scene in an attempt to cover up their act. The attack occurred in the majority white Rankin County, which is about 20 miles away from majority black Jackson, Mississippi. Some of the officers were also sentenced for their role in a separate assault just 2 weeks earlier, when another member of the Goon Squad repeatedly tased a man and put his genitals in his mouth. While the charge is focused on these 2 cases, the New York Times and Mississippi Today have revealed that deputies in the Rankin County Sheriff's Department have for decades barged into homes, handcuffed people, tortured them for information or confessions. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland issued a statement Thursday saying, quote, "The depravity of the crimes committed by these defendants cannot be overstated, and they will now spend between 10 and 40 years in prison for their heinous attack on citizens they had sworn to protect," AG Merrick Garland said.
Moments ago, 6 former Mississippi police officers had back in court. They've already pleaded guilty to federal charges of torturing 2 black men. Well, now they are staring down state charges. Prosecutors say the suspects, all of whom are white, called themselves the Goon Squad because of the excessive force that they've used.
Okay, this has been heart-wrenching for those victims. They, for quite some time, have been trying to get anyone to listen to them about what they experienced on that night. 2 hours of torture. When you think about having oil spilled on your body, eggs thrown at you while you recall the N-word over and over. For quite some time, these men were trying to get someone to pay attention. Now look, this is the first time we've actually seen these men in court. because that first case was a federal trial. And as you know, you can't get cameras in there. But this is a state court case. They call themselves the Goon Squad, and it was their job to go out and dispense justice the way they wanted to. In fact, at one point, they even tried to sexually assault these men, and they used their tasers over and over again to see who had the most powerful taser.
I crawled here to this spot, and they started beating me here and tasing me. As you can see, blood spots and all. And my blood spots there.
It hurt. I'm embarrassed.
That was Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins. When you think about Michael Jenkins, at one point, one of these officers who's admitted to this took out a gun, and they believed they had cleared the gun. They put it in his mouth and they pulled the trigger. He cleared the gun again and put it back in his mouth and pulled the trigger. At that point, it shot through his tongue and exited his neck. That's why he has trouble talking to this day. He'll be dealing with this for the rest of his life.
Y'all want to know what's really fucked up about all this? These 6 cops right here, this goon squad, little clique or whatever, gang, yeah, this is a gang. They got away with this shit a long time. It took a black guy to live through an attempted murder, you know what I mean, in order for these 6 cops to be investigated and be taken down. But black people were getting tortured and humiliated and abused and beaten and all kind of the most outrageous shit. They was going through the most outrageous with these racist ass cops, and their complaints was being just not even like listened to. They was falling on deaf ears. And if you was filing a report on these guys, they would spin the block on you and be like, "Oh, you filed a report, huh? Oh, you think you're gonna do something?" And they would just keep on doing it to you even more, since you think you can go down there and file a report on them. This is just a sample of what's taking place in the South. Not even just the South, nationwide. But yeah, I think this is what's going on though. It's the cops, it's the police officers, the slave patrol, because that's where the police department originated from, slave patrol. So yeah, it's not just the regular like racist ass citizens or whatever. It's the police. They just replaced the sheets with the uniform. And a lot of us that's probably watching this is not surprised. We already knew, you know what I mean. But like majority of like our complaints and shit, you know what I mean, because we always speak about how the police are. It falls on deaf ears. These 6 cops right here just so happen to slip up. But it's countless other cops getting away with this shit day in and day out. I just wanted to point this out though, man. Port City, Black TNZ family, listen to me. Stay locked and loaded. If your life is on the line and is yours or theirs, I'm not going to say nothing else because I don't want this video to get flagged. You know what I mean? But stand on business. You know what I mean? I'm gone. 1.
They call themselves the Goon Squad, and it was their job to go out and dispense justice the way they wanted to. In fact, at one point, they even tried to sexually assault these men, and they used their tasers over and over again to see who had the most powerful taser.
Your family tree's a circle tangled up in lust. Got that AR-15, think you're running the show, but the only thing you're hitting is a new all-time low. Predator vibes in the DMs, creeping on the young, singing Sweet Home Alabama with that forked up tongue. Say you're saving the world, but your logic's a wreck. Recessive Gene Blues, out now worldwide by Port City,